Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited you're here. Today I'm sharing my top 5 tips to creating beautiful detail shots so you can wow your brides. That said, let's jump in. On a wedding day, photographing details are typically the very first part of the day, and I use them as my warm-up to fire up my creativity and get in the wedding photography mindset. They're one of my absolute favorite parts of the wedding day and always end up being some of my favorite photos I capture during the getting ready. As I prepare to enter my 7th full year photographing weddings, I have learned quite a bit about creative ways to improve my detail shots and make them the best they can be. So let's get started. Tip number 1, use a bridesmaid dress as the background. When working on a flat lay details like the invitation suite and paper goods, you will probably want a solid color background. One of the best ways to ensure a beautifully consistent set of detailed photos is to use a bridesmaid dress as the background. Then not only do you have the perfect material to use for the details, but the colors will be consistent with the rest of the wedding day inspiration. Tip number 2, start wide, then get tiny. When photographing details, things can get overwhelming, especially if the bride has a ton of pretty things to photograph. I always start wide, flat lays, shoes, dress, and then I get tiny, like the wedding bands, jewelry, texture close-ups. I always start with my 35mm lens and I finish with my 105 macro lens. Tip number 3, use pillows or curtain backs as reflectors. Sometimes I look absolutely ridiculous, and Ruth can testify to that when I'm shooting details, and I'm totally okay with that. My ultimate goal is to have even natural light if possible for all the detail photos. So that usually means using some type of reflector. I own a reflector, but sometimes it's hard to carry around on wedding day. So instead, I will use pillows from the bridal suite or the white back of the hotel curtains as my reflectors. Tip number 4, get creative with textures. When I receive details from the bride, I take a quick inventory of what I have to photograph. Typically, I have an invitation suite, rings, shoes, jewelry, sometimes perfume or a garter. But before I start shooting, I do a quick search throughout the bridal suite for anything else that I could use to get creative. Bridesmaid gifts, textured details that will be incorporated into the reception, hair pieces, belts. I browse through magazines, just look around, spend that little bit of time to see if you can find any interesting elements that you can incorporate into your arrangement. So this takes us to our last and final tip, bring an emergency kit. This is one of my favorite tips that I use from the very beginning of my business, especially when my weddings weren't as necessarily detail friendly. I created a bag of detail emergency items, and that includes tulle fabrics and other material for backgrounds, ribbons, sparkles, objects for texture with the ring shots. I use a company called Barkenberry for my ring boxes. If I don't have something I love to use with the details, I will pull from this bag every time. That's it for this video, guys. If you like it, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, push that subscribe button, turn those post notifications if you have not, and be sure to follow me on my social media. The links are in the description down below, and we can always look at the things that we don't have, but we are a lot happier when we look at what we do have. So with that said, I will see you guys next week. Stay healthy, save, peace out.